exactly sure where to start. Hi there. Can someone please tell me why this is the single most scary thing I've ever done in my life? I'm Joanne, and I thought it was about time that I started a BookTube. I've just been too scared, quite frankly. So here we are. I have a coffee, I have a little candle. Go make yourself a coffee, light a candle, get cozy, and settle in. Also, how cute is this mug? Now let's talk about the 10 books that I want to read before the end of 2025. The first 2 books on the list are books that I feel like if I don't read this year, I will have serious FOMO because everyone is reading them. I just can't, I hear nothing else. So the first one is, of course, the sequel to Bride, which is Mate. When I tell you that this book consumed my life for 24 hours, I was not expecting to like this. I thought I was going to hate this, to be honest. But my friends kept saying, you have to read it, you're gonna love it. And I was like, oh, okay, it's October. Werewolves, vampires. It felt like the perfect time to read it. And there's an aeroplane. That's really rude.
A few moments later.
So anyway, it just felt like the perfect time to read it, and I thought, well, if not now, then when? So I picked it up and I read this book in a day. It was so much fun. Like, is it the most groundbreaking, convention-defying piece of literature that I have ever read? No. But it was a great time. I loved the writing. I thought the writing was easy to read, but also like had some depth. The plot was fine. Like, the plot was fun. But the romance in this was like 10/10. And yeah, so essentially, if you don't know what it's about, it's set in kind of like an alternate America where humans and werewolves and vampires know of each other's existence, and they have a government that kind of collaborates and comes up with terms to basically live civilly. And the main character in this is given over to the wares as collateral, and kind of put into a marriage of convenience situation. It is like a slow burn, fated mates, just great time. So highly recommend. But yeah, book that I want to read before the end of the year is the sequel, kind of a standalone story in its own right, but follows on from the events at the end of this book, and that is Mate by Ali Hazelwood. And then another book that I keep hearing about is Anathema, not really sure how you say it, by Kerry Lake, which is just like a dark, twisty, gothic romance. And the back says, you see the dead girl, but have you ever stared death in the face yourself? His growing obsession with her threatens to destroy everything, including himself. Enough said. The next book on my list is honestly one that I am ashamed that I have not yet read. And that is The Dark Mirror by Samantha Shannon. And yes, this is a proof copy that was kindly sent to me by Bloomsbury way back at the beginning of the year. And I literally screamed when I opened this. Like, decibels would pierce the eardrums, because I was so excited. And I still am so excited, but for some reason I've just not yet read it. And the long story short is that I had planned to do a reread of the whole of the Bone Season series and annotate it before I got to this. And that just hasn't quite happened. I started my reread last year, the end of last year, with the bone season, and started to annotate it. So like you can see here, it was very detailed, and I was having a great time. But the further through I got and the longer it was taking me, I realised that I was not going to finish this for all 4 of the books that had already been released before reading The Dark Mirror. So I stopped annotating. I kept reading, I tabbed, and I did the same thing for the second book as well, which is the Mime Order. And I'd started to read The Songrising. And then I got into the biggest reading slump known to man. And I didn't read for 2 months. And I haven't yet made it back to The Songrising, which I really need to. So although The Dark Mirror is on my 10 to read before the end, actually The Songrising and The Mask Falling should also really be on this list, because I want to finish those before I get to this. So that is my plan for November, and then so by December I can get to this one. But also, just to say, The Bone Season is one of the best series ever, and if you have not read it, you are missing out. It's my favourite. Next on the list, let's go with 2 books, 3 books, 2 of which I own, 1 I don't, so I will pop a thumbnail up, that are on my 12 books recommended by 12 friends reading challenge list. The first one is Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. I don't know a great deal about this one. All I know is that it is a romantasy. And then the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which I know is like a cosy autumnal small town romance, which actually I'm hoping to get to before the end of this month. If not, then it'll be my first read of November. And then the third book that's on that list, which I don't currently own, is the Door to Door bookstore by Carsten Henn, I think. Which again, I don't know much about, but it is a book about books and the act of reading and finding comfort in stories, which just sounds so wholesome and lovely. Another book that I want to read before the end of the year, which I've heard nothing but incredible things about, is Heavenly Bodies by Imani Eriu. Again, this is a romantasy, sort of, I think, star-crossed lovers, but where the main female character is just a complete badass. And just from the kind of inside, it says, you know, the most dangerous kind of villain. It's a woman with nothing left to lose. And that just screams, oh my god, you have to read this now, to me. I know I'm going to love this one. And also the sequel is coming out next month, I believe. So I want to get to it before then, so I can jump straight into the sequel. And then the other one is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. I wanted to read this last November. I don't know why this screams November to me, but I just didn't get round to it. All I've been told is that it will shred me into 1,000 pieces, and for that I am very excited to read it, and I don't know what that says about me, but anyway. So yeah, all of the reviews of this have been incredible. It has a map, which is always a good sign, and basically says, the first woman ever admitted to a prestigious order of mages unravels a secret conspiracy that could change the practice of magic forever in this standalone dark fantasy from the author of The Sword of Kaigen. Also, I've not read that one and I do want to, but I thought I'd start with this one because it's a little bit shorter, a little bit less daunting, and I've just heard amazing things, so yeah. Okay, so the last 2 I am so intimidated by. And I don't really know why, because I have rated the other 2 books in both of these trilogies 5 out of 5 stars. They're amazing. They completely took my breath away, and they will stand as my favourite series of all time. So the 2 books to round off my 10 before the end are both the 3rd books in trilogies, and the first one of those is The Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty, which is the final book in the City of Brass, or the Daevabad trilogy. These books are kind of set in the world of the Jinn and mythical creatures, and follow the protagonist, Nari, I think her name is, who essentially was a thief on the streets of Cairo. That's how she kind of got by in life, and she is taken away by a character called Dara, who takes her to the city of Daevabad, and kind of things unfold from there. Her kind of family lineage is revealed, and it is a multiple perspective narrative, which I love as well. And honestly, there is not a single perspective in here that I did not enjoy reading. The breadth of the world building, the detail in the storytelling and the prose, just everything completely took my breath away in both the first and the second book. If anything, the second book was even better than the first. So yeah, I am really excited, but I'm also terrified to read this because I don't want it to end. I feel like that's one of my biggest red flags, is that I don't like to read the end of series because I don't want them to be over. But there we go. And then in similar vein to that is the 3rd book in the Poppy War trilogy, The Burning God. And when I say that I am terrified to read this, I feel like that is the understatement of the century. The Poppy War destroyed me, but I had the best time. Like, the themes in this are not light. Like, they are grueling at times. And like, the Poppy War, I think, is over 600 pages long, and I flew through it in like 2 days. I could not put it down. The Burning God, the 2nd book, also took my breath away, and the cliffhanger at the end of that book just completely destroyed me. And therefore I am terrified to read this. And I don't know if I'll ever be ready, but I feel like I have to. Like, I cannot put this off for any longer. So this is going on my 10 before the end. It will be on my TBR before the end of this year, and I'm determined to read it. But I'm so scared. But yeah, there we have it. 10 books that I want to read before the end of 2025. I feel like there are some amazing books there, but there are some also very chunky books. So we'll see. Possibly optimistic, as I've got 2 months to read 10 books, of which 3 are massive, but we'll see. Optimism. If you have read any of the books that I've listed, please let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for watching my first ever BookTube video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you'll stick around, subscribe, hit the like button, and all of those fun little things that feels weird to say. But yeah, thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye.